Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and today we're going to take a look at my poll priorities and how they have kind of changed, especially now that I've got all of the random SSR selectors out of the way. So the first thing is I did just finish the Phase 6 and get that standard 6-star contract, and since the game came out just about 5 days ago, so that's about the timeline that it takes to actually get that for anyone that hasn't finished it yet or started a little bit late. If you use your energy correctly, you should be getting close to being able to finish the Phase 6 quests at this point. And so with the Echomancers that I've gotten in the game, the first one I got here was Mon Hakshu. That one I got when I lost the 50-50 going for Xin Ying, and then I got Xin Ying 2 polls later after that. Then I bought the random selector out of the shop, the $10 one, and that got me Laurel. And then when I got the Phase 6 quest done, which I just pulled, I got Foray and Fernie. So I did not get Luke on any of my randoms. And so when I kind of look at my selector here, my original pull plan was to pull Luke to use with Xin Ying. But since I did end up getting Mo Hangshu, it's kind of made me shift my thought process to pulling Kyros instead. And with some discussion, some people online, that is actually going to be the better option for me to go. And we'll kind of take a look at one of my reasonings for that. So the main thought process between getting Kyros over Luke at this point is kind of who's going to have the long-standing value down the line that's going to be more important to have. And Kyros also has more useful duplicates, so the more dupes you get of him, like that very first one you get is going to be really good. So if I get my first copy of him now, if I get him on a random lost 50-50 in the future, then it's going to be good, versus Luke, where if I get a dupe for him, his extra points is not as valuable as Kyros's. And for the meantime, while I don't have Luke, what I can do to still have him for my Xin Ying is use him as an aiding Echomancer for a majority of the content in this game. And so like if you look at my friends list here, at the top of my list, you can actually go in and look at the Echomancers that they're making available that you can use as your aiding one. And so right now I can see this person has Luke. So I can get Luke through having friends that are just making them available for me to use. And that was one way. And then you can kind of, when you're actually accepting friends requests, so like right now I have this person that's giving me a friends request level 25, you can actually look at their card right here, and you can actually see what they're using as their aiding Echomancers, as well as their aiding memory traces. And the memory traces are really big because you can bring in one when you're doing the Nexus run, which is really where the memory trace is the most important. And so this is kind of my way to get around not having Luke, was doing that, because I know Kyros is going to be more valuable for me down the line, especially if I start getting him as duplicates from lost 50-50s in the future, because they're way more valuable than lost 50-50s for Luke. And so if we go ahead and take a look at the tier list and as well as the released ordinance, and we kind of see how doing this really doesn't change much, but I do feel like it gives me more options with my team builds by getting Kyros over Luke now. Big thing is that Luke is not a core of the physical summon team. He's more of just good to have with the team, because Xin Ying's your core summoner and physical team unit. And then you have Kyros, who is a core member of the fire team. And by getting him with Mon Hangshu, I have a good sized fire team set up. And even if I'm not going to pull future fire units, because I do plan to skip Bali Tusu, who will actually be the next unit after Xin Ying, I will be skipping him. But that is not that big a deal, because one of the plans that I have is going for the lightning water side of things. So I want to get Skylar, Uni, and Jean. By getting those, fire has a really good elemental reaction with lightning in the form of explosion, so I can kind of go in that lightning fire direction with him, and that will work plenty fine. And it really doesn't change anything in my future pulls, because then I'm also going to go for, after Skylar, it's going to be Boreas and then Fen Quengshu, and that's going to get me my ice side of things, and it makes it where I can have Xin Ying, Boreas, and Fen Quengshu be like my main core team, and then I can have like another support supplementing them, as well as some other units in there. And then after that, that doesn't really change much on pulls after that, because depending on my luck, I could always pull over Thea when she comes out, but it's really going to depend on my luck at that point. And so everything after Fen Quengshu is still up in the air, because it's all dependent on how well I do in my pulling. The main thing is that I definitely want to make sure I get Uni and Jean, and if we go following the CN banner, Uni comes right after Thea, So it will just depend on my luck and whether I pull for her for the fire side of things. If not, then I just get Uni, and then after Uni, I have actually a decent amount of time to save up for Jean. I get Jean, and now I have my two. I have like the really good core top tier lightning, water, and then I have a mix of that lightning fire side of things as well as an ice team. And then from there, it just really kind of opens up my options for future units. The big one that I'll probably want to get after them is going to be the one that just released on the CN side of things, if we look at them. And that is going to be at the bottom here on the Xing, should you pull, is going to be Midas. And Midas is just a straight up power creep to Luke and just significantly better in pretty much every way. He has summon built into his trait, but his summon does follow-up attacks when other physical or summon Echomancers do damage that'll do follow-up summon damage to the enemy. So he is going to pair extremely well with Xing and any other units that incorporate summons. And so that pretty much covers it for my kind of pull priorities in the future. And it's kind of a lot of my thought process of why I will be selecting Kyros over Luke here on the pull. When I look at the other units, none of them can really fit in the teams I want in the future. I mean, you have someone like Tong, who's a physical summon DPS. He's got the same situation as Luke. Ivana, while she's a good AoE ice type damage, going into that Boris and Feng Shu direction, she's just going to be outclassed very soon for me on the ice side of things. Long Qing I do eventually want to get, but Freda can already fill that. And it's kind of the same thing with Zodifican. Azur already can fill that one. And Hostile is just too focused on that single target, and he doesn't do enough damage outside of his burst window to really kind of fill my team up in any capacity that I need. So, and he'll be eventually replaced anyway, being Lightning, with Skylar and then others and the other teams. So that's just kind of my thought process there. Big takeaway is just make sure that if there is a unit that you just need a stopgap for, you can just use the aiding Echomancers here. And so that's how I'm going to take care of my Luke role for the time being. But yeah, if you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.